Have you ever felt like you're just existing but not really living? Studies show that 85% of people worldwide hate their jobs. And what if I told you that this has less to do with money and more to do with a lack of purpose? Imagine waking up every day without knowing if you're on the right path. Time passes, opportunities slip away, and deep down you feel like you could be doing more. But you don't know where to start, even if you've already achieved a lot. You've worked, built, and overcome challenges. You've accumulated experiences that shaped who you are today. But despite all of that, do you still feel like something is missing? Now answer this. Who told you that purpose is something you need to find? That's one of the biggest illusions you've been sold. You're not lost. Your purpose isn't hidden somewhere, waiting to be discovered. If you don't feel clear about it yet, maybe it's because you haven't built it yet. Most people believe that purpose is some kind of divine calling, a revelation that appears out of nowhere and changes everything. As if one day you'd wake up with absolute certainty about what you were meant to do in this world. But that's a myth. Purpose is not a destination, it's a process. It's not something you find already complete. It's something you build brick by brick with every decision you make. If purpose were something fixed and unchanging, then why do so many people who've already achieved everything they ever wanted still feel like something is missing? Because purpose isn't a finish line. It evolves as you do. And here's what almost no one tells you. You may already be living part of your purpose, but you just haven't learned to recognize it yet. So now, the real question is, how can you break out of this cycle of uncertainty and start building something that truly makes sense? If purpose is something you build, then why do so many people spend their entire lives without ever finding one? Simple. Because most people aren't living their own lives, they're living the lives they were taught to live. From an early age, we follow rules, expectations, and patterns programmed into us. Study hard, get a good job, get married, buy a house. But who said this is the only path? Have you ever stopped to think about how many of your life decisions were truly yours? How many choices did you make because you wanted to, and not because they were expected of you? The second big problem, the illusion of a grand purpose. Many believe that purpose has to be something huge, revolutionary, something that changes the world. But not everyone needs to build $1 billion company or cure diseases to have a purpose. Purpose isn't about the size of the impact, it's about how aligned it is with who you truly are. And then there's a third point that almost no one talks about. Purpose isn't fixed, it evolves as you do. Maybe years ago, you made choices that made sense for who you were at that time. But what about now? What has changed? Your values, your priorities, even your entire worldview might have shifted. The problem is that life doesn't always keep up with this evolution, and that's where the feeling of misalignment comes from. If you're feeling restless, it's because something needs to be updated. What once felt like your purpose may not be anymore. But that doesn't mean everything was in vain. It simply means it's time to adjust your path to match who you are today. And here's something few people realize. Maybe the key to your purpose is already hidden within what you've overcome. Difficulties, challenges, past struggles, everything that shaped your journey. And what made you grow could be exactly what others need to overcome right now. The most successful people understand this. And what do? They turn their experiences into solutions for the world. Think about it. Someone who learned how to manage money can now teach others about financial stability. Someone who overcame social anxiety can help others become confident communicators. Someone who healed from trauma can now guide others through the same journey. And do you know what happens to those who solve real problems? They thrive, because the world rewards those who create meaningful solutions. Now that it's clear purpose isn't found but built, the next question is, where do you start? Step 1. The 3 question tester. A great way to begin understanding what truly makes sense for you is by answering 3 simple but powerful questions. What do I do that makes me lose track of time? What do people always say I'm naturally good at? If I had unlimited money, what would I spend my days doing? These answers won't necessarily give you a ready-made purpose, but they'll help you recognize patterns you may have never noticed before. Step 2. What have you already overcome? If you still don't know which path to take, look back. What difficulties have you faced and overcome? What once seemed impossible, but now feels natural to you? Many people try to search for purpose in something completely new, without realizing that the answer may already be within their own journey. The most successful leaders, entrepreneurs, and changemakers understand this. They first solve their own problems and then turn them into solutions for others. Think about it. Someone who overcame insecurity can now help others build self-confidence. Someone who escaped debt can develop skills to teach financial education. Someone who conquered their fear of public speaking can become an expert in communication. And do you know what happens to those who solve real problems? They thrive, because the world values those who create meaningful solutions. So before you look outside for a purpose, look within. What have you learned in your journey that could shorten someone else's path? Step 3. The experimentation cycle. Even after identifying patterns and past struggles, purpose doesn't reveal itself in theory. It needs to be tested in action. This means trying things out, creating, throwing yourself into the process. The biggest mistake you can make is waiting for total clarity before taking action. Purpose is born through action, not through waiting. Step 4. Small daily connections every day. Before going to sleep, ask yourself, did what I do today bring me closer to or further away from what truly matters to me? If the answer is closer, repeat it tomorrow. If the answer is further, adjust your path. Small, consistent steps build an unshakable trajectory. Purpose isn't a moment of revelation. It's not an insight that suddenly appears and solves everything. What truly changes your life isn't discovering your purpose, but living according to it. And here's the biggest challenge. What do you do after you realize what you truly want? If even after everything I've said you still don't see your purpose, then you can create one. Yes, purpose isn't something that needs to be found as if it were lost. It can be built from scratch through your choices. You can decide today that your purpose will be to help, innovate, transform, teach, challenge. It doesn't matter what, as long as you choose. What once felt like an empty space is now a path full of possibilities. The answer was never outside. It has always been within you. If any part of this video resonated with you, write in the comments, "I build my purpose," and tell me what first step you will take starting today. What you do from here is up to no one but you. And if this content brought you clarity, imagine how many others need to hear this. Share this video with someone you know is searching for meaning. It could be exactly what they need right now. What you do from here is entirely your choice. See you in the next video.